Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Nice, nice. Um, so, congratulations, Andreas, for your election. We are happy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we are happy to have you here with us in our MiniDebConf. This is the first time in Belo Horizonte City, and this is the fifth edition. So it was good because we are waiting to invite the new DPL, and you have opportunity to hear you for the first time, I believe. It's your first talk, right? Right?
Yes, it's my first talk, yeah.
Yeah.
10 days after being elected. Yeah.
Nice. So we can start. So feel free for your talk, and if you need something, you can call me. I will be here listening you.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. As you can see, it's dark in Germany. Maybe you can hear the castle in my back. Maybe or not. It's I'm really happy to be here, and I need to admit, when I've got the mail, I somehow assumed you wanted to have me physically in Belo Horizonte, which I would have liked, but well, traveling the distance for just one talk is a little bit much. And yeah, finally, I see some positive outcome in the pandemic because this has shown us that a lot more is possible without traveling a lot. Yeah, so I will share my screen for a small presentation which I prepared. I called it Bits from a Greenhorn DPL because I not really feel new or fresh or young. Just want to simply introduce myself a bit to tell you where I am. Your new DPL is DD since 1998. So when I started with Debian, it was something else than now. I joined 16 DebConfs. Um, last one in India is not on this row of T-shirts. I had all my T-shirts online in the Corona pandemic. And I was also 2 times in Brazil, one time for Fizzle in 2013 in Porto Alegre, and at DebConf 19, which was a really great DebConf. We have the T-shirt here. No, don't know if you can see both my presentation and me. Whatever. I have uploaded more than 17,000 packages, and I fixed more than 5,800 bugs in all this time since 1998. I think fixing bugs is more important than uploading a new version of a package, because I've more or less done it semi-automated, so it's not much brain you put into every single upload. But fixing a bug is always responding to the needs of a user, which is more important, in my opinion. And I think I'm most proud about the fact that I attracted at least 25 new developers. I will come back to this later because doing some technical work is one thing, but enabling others to do the technical work is even more important. And I heard you are 240 people in Belo Horizonte for this MiniDebConf. This is a really cool job, and I really applaud this. And because you get new people involved, which is really important, I think. So far for my work in Debian, but what about life? I was born in 1967. I'm married since 1989. I'm a father of a son since 1919. I finished my physics study in 1994. And I'm a grandfather and also an adopted daughter since 2015. Grandfather, well, it's thanks to my son, and the adopted daughter is actually thanks to Debian. I had a talk in DebConf in Montreal about the story, which is really nice, and I really enhanced my family due to Debian. I became again grandfather in 2018, so I have 2 German grandsons, and I have also an adopted granddaughter, which is actually living downstairs here, and sometimes I bring her to the kindergarten, which is really nice. And I have also another adopted daughter from Vietnam since 2020. And I do not want to forget that a huge thank goes to my wife for all the freedom she gives me to have talks in the late evening in Germany and like this and all this stuff I'm doing. So she is really tolerant, and a lot of thanks goes to her. What else am I doing besides packaging and the family? Yeah, I wrote it. I think I gave even a link in the recent interview I gave to. I'm planting trees like crazy. Here around in my garden there are several trees which are creating baby trees, and since in the last couple of years a lot of wood has died, I decided, well, I pull out the baby trees and plant them in the wood to make them growing up there. I'm working with the Parents for Future, which is a small group of people here in my town to supporting the Fridays for Future kids. I love bicycling here in the nature. I'm doing other sports like swimming and running. I enjoy taking photos, and I'm also doing some street mapping, which is more or less helping me when I'm going by bicycle through the area here. Yeah, you might ask yourself about my motivation to run for DPL. Well, one thing was that I realized Jonathan was the only candidate last year, and in Kochi he said he will not run again. So, well, I was a little bit afraid we have no candidate at all. And I also have seen some problems unaddressed for years. For instance, there are a couple of them. The most important ones for me were that I think we should move all our package maintenance on Salsa, and I really care about inviting packaging teams. We have a lot of great teams inside Debian, but we also have pseudo teams which are more or less 1 or 2 people, and we have single maintainers who are not really friendly or inviting to others. And I would love if I move Debian a little bit more in the direction that we have inviting teams, including newcomers, teaching newcomers, and working together with them. I also think that we have some very important core teams who carry a lot of workload and are not really redundantly settled. So a very small number of people is doing an amazing amount of work, but in the end this could be a problem to, yeah, if these people might just let them get some children in the best case and shift their priorities, and so this we need more redundancy in these core teams, in my opinion. Yeah, and I also had some private reasons to run for DPL. Yeah, to give just some example what I mean with core teams problem, you all know we have FTP master team, and they have the really important task to make sure that only free software is entering Debian. And this is the base of our work, right? But maybe we can relax the rules a little bit, that if this it's clarified that the software has a free license, and if there is some missing single copyright statement, some authors are missing in there, this is should be considered a bug. It should be fixed, but it should not stop packages entering Debian, in my opinion. And it would be also nice to provide some tools to remove packages, right? If you think a package should be removed from Debian, for instance, or for some architectures, I realized in the recent time T 64-bit transition that it would be way more handy if a maintainer could simply trigger this removal automatically, and we would not need to wait for FTP master. Yeah, and maybe there are other things. I would like to discuss with all those teams about means they consider nice or they would like to enhance in their work. There's also there's a change process in Debian which I really like to smoothen in a way, like Michael Stapelberg has written 5 years ago in his more or less famous blog post, which was called Winding Down Debian Involvement, where he said, well, I had some imagination how Debian should work, and I could not see any change in a couple of years, and so he was a little bit frustrated. But yeah, frustration is one thing, and I personally hope to move a little bit into the right direction he was suggesting, and he was criticizing things like the cost of each change is distributed onto the package maintainers, which is, yeah, if you could imagine that, for instance, in this time T 64-bit transition, a lot of things could be automated because all the packages are maintained in the very same way on Salsa, then it could be went way more smooth than writing single bug reports to the maintainer. Hope the maintainer is moving the changes into the repository which is used or not at all used, and is not forgotten in the next upload if there is no repository at all, and all this stuff. So having a common way where all the packages are maintained would be really nice. So we are simply lacking some tooling for large changes like these, and I'm not as naive to assume that all these problems will be solved in the end of my term, right? But yeah, I want to prepare something into this direction to move Debian a little bit more forward into the future. We also have to face some holdouts who refuse to collaborate into Debian. They are very sure that only they can deal with their packages as it's necessary to deal. So, and the funny thing, the excess thing 1 month ago, where some foreigner forced himself into the Git repository, which created a big security hole, is used as an argument to not collaborate with others. But in my opinion, I use it as a counter argument because if we have 2 or 3 people for one task, nobody can force himself into the position, and newcomers need to grow up and need to gain for trust. And so I think it's better to have more than one person for a job than only one person who claims that only this person is possible to solve our problems. Yeah, something I did kind of training in advance for the DPL job was my pet project Debian Med. People addressed me frequently as a leader of Debian Med, which I always refuse because no, I'm not leading this project. I'm initiated this project, and I made very sure that we are a welcoming team. Everybody can work very freely, self-confident, and also competent. Because how can I lead such a team if I'm not expert in the topic itself? I'm a physicist, as I said. I'm nothing to do with bioinformatics or medicine. So my way to deal with the tasks I have to do was to be very attractive for newcomers, for experts in this field. And we finally managed that every year a newcomer confirmed, well, I'm only a Debian developer because this Debian Med project existed. So we have a very open collaboration mindset. That means team uploads are very welcome. Everybody can touch every package. And well, if something is not working as expected, we fix it later, right? We are working very closely together with upstream, and we have packages inside Debian and the Debian Med team that would not be possible without upstream contribution right to the packaging. And what many people are frequently wondering, yes, Debian Med represent a nice project for Debian in principle, but the way more important thing is that it's a potential model for outreach on a broader scale. So if other teams inside Debian would behave to newcomers and involve upstreams that way as we are doing, and would reach out to the outer world, the whole free software world, and not only Debian, and fiddle around with their own package. In my opinion, we could gain even more traction in a lot of more fields than just a couple of blends we have currently in Debian, which are more or less designed in the same way as the Debian Med project. So don't be disturbed that it's all this medicine or biology stuff. Just look how we are doing and do it the same way. Yeah, some more training in advance was in the Debian Python team, which is well, to say the contrast to the Debian Med team is totally wrong. It's different in several aspects. It's Debian Med is about a certain topic. Debian Python is about a certain language, which has some difference in principle. But one major point in the team policy of the Debian Python team was that they had a de facto option for no teamwork inside this team. They use the same repository, but there was an option to say, well, this is my package and you are not permitted to change it, which is, in my opinion, absolutely contrary to what we call teamwork. And when I realized this, I proposed a change. and I received a lot of positive responses of a lot of team members, and which I really sad about, and I'm sorry that this happened. It's also scared away two long-term contributors to this team who really insisted on their very own packages, and if we get rid of this option, to their opinion, the team is something else than before, right? Okay, we are volunteers and we are not able to force somebody to agree. And now the team is picking up some remaining pieces from one person who left the team. The other maintainer has drawn all his repositories out of the team space. It happens, but as I said, I'm not lucky about this, but I think it was a good training for being DPL, because we have always the situation that in the case of change, some people agree and others disagree. And so we need to find a consensus, and hopefully a consensus the majority can agree with. Yeah, in my DPL platform, I also wrote about diversity, diversity regarding geographical discrimination in open source, and I'm so happy that when I heard the number of contributors in Brazil and people attending the conference. So Brazil is definitely not discriminated in the geographic aspect, but we have nearly no developers in Africa and other regions in the world where we don't have any Debian developer. I hope I can do a little bit against this, and we have also uh, quite a bad gender balance in open source, and specifically also in Debian. And well, it is a volunteer project. We can't force volunteers of whatever gender inside Debian, but I think we can do a little bit more to be more inviting. And I also discussed the problem that, for instance, for cultural reasons, women can't spend larger time chunks to this task on a voluntary basis. And so I had the first idea that we could probably do some tiny tasks in quality assurance where you can get some people involved who can't go do big contributions, but maybe for such tiny contributions, learning a bit and so on. And so I had one idea to define kind of a bug of the day, which I imagine something like, well, I'm doing UDD query for bugs that are open for a long time. The package is not yet maintained on Salsa, which would give us the option to move it to Salsa. And it has some features like not short dep helper, also something like this. So this just packages that are more or less obviously not very active maintained. And so we can do some training on this bug and show people what can be done for the packages. This is hopefully good for newcomers, and hopefully also for the quality assurance inside Debian. And similarly, I want to write some auto package tests of the day. So um, I'm positively convinced that it would be the best situation if every single package would have an auto package test, but this is a far distant future. So let's start with packages that have a high popcorn number, and look at packages with the highest popcorn that don't have an auto package test, and just write tiny tests, which in several cases can be done easily for some packages. Others is hard. So let's spot the easy task, harvest the low-hanging fruit together with newcomers, and maybe we can attract people who otherwise would never have been come to Debian, and maybe some of them will stay in Debian. These are some very first ideas I have. So now, do you have questions? I'm just here. I just told the organizers I have not a big presentation. My slides are online, are not yet online, but I will move them to this talks page. You can seek for Andreas Tille talks, and you will find some links. And in the next 1 or 2 days, this talk will be there. So this is a view you can see behind me, if it would be not so dark. So this is what I wanted to present, and now I'm keen on your questions. Please ask questions. I'm really keen to hear what you're interested in.
Great. Thank you, Andreas. It was very nice to know about your first ideas to your term. Well, I can make one question now. Is what do you think it will be your biggest challenger during your term? Do you think it's more related to technical stuff or more social relation with Debian developers and people?
This is a good question. I really hope it will be technically, but I'm afraid the social problems will be outweighed this by far.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to ask in Portuguese if someone have questions, okay? Alguém tem alguma questão que gostaria de fazer? Só vim aqui ao microfone e, como eu falei, o Kanashiri pode traduzir também. Charles? We have one question. Ah, faça no microfone. Use os dois, o microfone e esse aqui, para ele poder ouvir.
So, hi Andreas, thanks for
Hi.
joining. It was very nice to meet you at DebConf last year.
Yeah.
My first question is not exactly, it's a bit of a question, but do you have a proposal right now for the team maintenance and how to solve it? And the second part is a bit of what we do as curl maintainers. I'm helping Sergio and Samuel to do it, and we decided to move the package to the Debian namespace in Salsa, while still using the maintainer field in Debian control as the curl maintainers, so we can have all the good things in tracker and everything else. But it's also under the Debian namespace, so it solves a bit if people need to make an upload or something. We just ask them to politely send an email before uploading things, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, regarding the team maintenance, it was an interesting discussion on Debian Vote and also Debian Private, and so that people absolutely disagreed with me about. Well, I didn't even make the explicit proposal to mandatory team maintenance, even if I have very positive feelings about this. I think it's too early to have mandatory team maintenance. But what I think, it's not too early to have Salsa mandatory, which is an absolute precondition for team maintenance. This is the because the first question was about technical problems or social problems. I think moving everything to Salsa is more or less a technical question, and the team maintenance is probably the hardest thing, is the social questions, right? And so yeah, this is not for my term, team maintenance, but Salsa, I I love to salvage packages to Salsa. For instance, in this bug of the day thingy, that everything ends up in on Salsa, and maybe we create some repository there where we dump this if there is no proper team found or so, something like this. To the other question, um, in my opinion, the Debian namespace is a solution for, oh, we really do not have a better team place than this one, right? Dump everything in Debian is not really. It's a very flat structure, but it's not really a team structure because people do not really identify themselves with the team they are belonging to. So my recommendation would be trying to find some teams, which is not always easy because, for instance, as I said, with the Debian Med team and Debian Python team, any Debian Med Python package fits into two teams. It fits, one is context-wise because it's medicine biology, and one is language-wise. So it's not always easy to decide, but yeah, being a little bit flexible in this makes sense, and dumping everything in Debian is nothing I would really like if there are better options. Is this answering your question?
Yes. A bit. I mean, a bit. It's more like an open question, right? And it's an open answer
Yeah.
too. But we are going to try to make it.
Yeah.
So my second question is about MiniDebConfs. As you showed the map in there, we saw that there is a lot of differences on geolocation from Debian developers. We know that we have more Debian developers in the rich north and all that. We also do have those differences here in Brazil. So the south and southeast are more rich, and so we have more Debian developers here than northeast or northwest of the country. So we are entertaining the possibility of having two mini-debconfs next year. So we would like just to check with you if that would be okay for Debian.
I love every mini DebConf. I love always if people meet each other. If it's called DebConf or whatever the name might be, just make sure you will meet in person, right? You can also call it sprint or something if it's only 20 people. Yeah, just do it.
Cool, thanks.
And vai fazer pergunta? Ah, ok. Vai falar mais alto que esse microfone tá baixo.
First of all, thanks Andreas for presenting here in our MiniDebConf. You mentioned during your talk about the work that you have been doing with Debian Med, also about diversity. Those are topics that we have been discussing here during the MiniDebConf, and I think many people here are interested on that. Could you elaborate a bit more about the practice that you are using in the Debian Med team that you think that will be beneficial for the broader community, like some things that we could do in our local communities that would help us to bring new blood to the project?
Yeah, well, I think every DebConf I joined, I had a talk which usually was called Debian Med, which scared away many people. So I should never have used the title in the talk description and talk about team maintenance and so, which, yeah, maybe you go to my talks page and see what I did there. I do not want to cut your question, but there is, I talked about this more than I can answer in this question. One probably successful thing which we are all doing is Outreach and Google Summer of Code. These are nice projects which are good for your team in any case, even if the student will not remain. And I need to admit the majority of students did not really remain, but recently, now when I was elected as DPL, I've got to respond, thanks for mentoring me a couple of years ago, and maybe I will do some more. So you should not expect that the people stay immediately, but something will remain in these people you are teaching in this period. Something, some work is done for you, which is good, and something will remain. So please make sure you draft good tasks for students, which is one part, and join this project. And another thing which is probably unique in the Debian Med project was the so-called mentoring of the month, where I invited a newcomer to find a package this person wanted to see in Debian, and I provided all help to get this work done. So we have also our own students project, something like this, and this was kind of interesting because we finally in these months something happened. In most cases we had a finished package. Also here, most of those students did not remain, but some remained. So you have kind of an investment, which is, and there's no guarantee that this time investment will be rewarded in the end. But if you don't try, you will never know, right? You need to try. And regarding diversity, I once had one project because I had the restriction the package must be out of the topic of Debian Med project, and I learned we have always men. And then I dropped this restriction. I said I want a non-male person joining the project, and there's no matter what topic of this package. And I actually had one woman from Iran, which was kind of the least country where I expected to have a woman joining it. This was a very interesting project for me. She also did not continue in Debian, but it was a pretty interesting project. Interesting stuff was done, and yeah, just try. You need to find ideas how you can attract people with such things, and I hope this bug of the day or how to package test of the day or something like this will bring also more people. Let's see. I don't know. I've got no idea. Let's try it. Once I'm back from vacation, end of May, I want to start this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Hi Andreas, nice to meet you. My
Hi.
name is Andrea. I'm kind of newcomer to Debian project. I have around a year of participation and these things. My question is more for newcomers like me, and my question is, what advice would you give to someone that's starting now on the community, some around these things? Then, so what would you say to someone that's starting now?
Yeah, maybe the best advice is find a task you are happy about. You find a task you like inside Debian. If you are someone who wants to do not a big packaging or so, but want to work in the publicity team or so, you are, I don't know you, but you in Debian there are a lot of interesting tasks, and there is no task which is less important than the other task. It's the main point, in my opinion, is it must make the system better for you personally. I started in Debian because I think I wrote it. It was kind of an accident that I'm Debian developer at all, because I needed a package which was a monolingual dictionary, which would have been in danger of being removed. And so I said, well, this is my task now to make sure it doesn't get removed. And then you see, there is something else. I really need this, and then I do this. So you make sure your own motivation is kept as high as possible, and then you will stay and you will find a lot of interesting tasks.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Andreas, one question. What I know there are a lot of Debian developers in Germany. Well, you are German. What do you think about this? If you have any idea about why you have so many German Debian developers, and what can you do to have more? What do you think we can do to have more Brazilians as Debian developers too?
So you think I'm an expert about the Germans? What should I say? I don't own a car, I don't drink beer, I don't like football. What should I say? I actually asked myself several times why we have more or less the highest density of developers compared to the number of inhabitants, and the highest absolute number. I think if I look at your MiniDebConf, you Brazilians are doing an amazing job. So I have nothing to say what you can do better. So thanks for what you did. So that's all I can say.
Great, thanks. More questions? Okay, we go there.
And I love that I've seen the people I know from other DebConfs here in the audience and asking questions.
Hi, are you listening to me? Okay, so I have more as like a personal question. I mean, I just want to know, like, since you started as a Debian developer and now as a leader, what have been your difficulties along the way? I mean, the main challenges, and if there was anything that stopped you, prevented you from continuing, and how did you overcome those difficulties along the way?
Yeah, well, thinking about difficulties, I haven't seen some difficulties which stopped me from. The only thing is I have seen always a lot of tasks that need to be done, and I'm not able to do them all myself. This is basically if I in the morning I get up and think I could do this and that and that and all is important. Which one should I pick? And maybe it's a good advice to usually pick the low hanging fruits, because it is highly motivating, because you get something done, but you also need to harvest the fruit that are on top of the tree and you can't reach so easily. But I was never demotivated, except that I would have wished more time to spend on Debian. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Hi, just a follow-up question. Just a follow-up question to this one. What keeps you motivated after 15 more, almost 20 years doing that? Why do you keep contributing to free software and Debian?
Yeah, in principle, well, what I usually say, people who are not involved in free software are thinking my motivation is to make the world a better place, right? But this is actually not true. I want to make sure I have a rock solid operating system for my own computer. And this is my way to do this is to the method of free software, because I know there are a lot of very skilled and gifted people working on this together with me. And the fact that I'm possibly making the world a better place is really great, but this is not the main motivation, right? So otherwise I could go planting trees. Is operating so it
Sorry, just wait a bit because we lost you.
what I said from the beginning also. Yeah, okay. I said my main motivation is to have a better operating system for myself, and I consider the method to do free software the best way to get this, because there are a lot of skilled people are working on the same goal, and the fact that that the world becomes a better place when doing so, it's just nice, right? It's great, but it's not the main motivation. Yeah.
Uh, my name is John. I've been with Debian since last year, so I'm a new contributor. And you guys talked about how there are a bigger number of DDs and contributors in general in North America and from Europe. So my question is, how, what is the cost, if you know, what you think about that, and what we as a and what we, what we as a community, sorry, what we as a community can do to grow bigger communities and to reach new ones.
Yeah. Run more mini. Yeah, you're right. Here.
Yeah, we're having some technical issues with the sign of the display. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, we have you back.
Yeah. I just wrote down just one more mini-debconf. You are doing exactly the right thing. I do not. I have no better ideas than you're just doing right now. And people in Brazil are are a great community. You are way better than other countries. Running the fifth mini-debconf. Meanwhile, this is so great. So what should I add? Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. This will be a mic check. Oops. Okay. Um, we have no more questions now. So, Andreas, would like to your final words for our talk, for your talk.
Yeah, I enjoyed speaking, having the first speech at your DebConf, and the questions were interesting for me, and I hope my answers were also interesting for you. And I love to see you all in Busan
Yeah, I hope so.
in July.
Yeah,
And
we are talking
yeah,
about that. I think I believe we have some Brazilians there, and
yeah,
we'll
cool.
talk with you in person.
I hope you will not have any major trouble with Visa and so on. And yeah.
Huh?
If I could do something, I would drastically simplify Visa stuff to make more people or enable more people to come.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope to
Yeah,
see you soon. See you soon. Bye. Thank you.
have fun. Yeah, see you. Bye bye.
Bye. Let me turn off the things here.